Before Christianity, ancient civilizations built temples that stood for thousands of years, holding secrets we still don't fully understand. Now, a newly discovered temple may be even older than we ever imagined, changing everything we know about history. Göbekli Tepe, Turkey, the oldest known temple. It features massive stone pillars with animal carvings and is around 11,600 years old compared to Christianity. Long before pyramids, long before Rome, there stood Göbekli Tepe. This temple is older than Christianity by thousands of years, dating back to around 9,500 BCE. Hidden in the hills of modern-day Turkey, it is one of the oldest known man-made monuments ever discovered. Built in a time when humans were still hunter-gatherers, it challenges everything we thought we knew about history. At first glance, its massive T-shaped stone pillars seem almost impossible for prehistoric people to have built. Some of these pillars weigh over 10 tons, yet they were somehow carved, transported, and arranged in circular enclosures. Many are decorated with detailed carvings of wild animals, including lions, snakes, and vultures. Some even have anthropomorphic designs showing human-like features. These mysterious images give us a glimpse into the minds of people who lived more than 11,000 years ago. For decades, nobody knew what lay beneath the soil. The site was first noticed in 1963, but archaeologists at the time mistook the pillars for simple grave markers. It wasn't until 1994, when German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt examined the site, that its true significance was revealed. As soon as excavations began, the massive megaliths emerged, proving this was no ordinary settlement. This was something bigger, a place of worship, gathering, and ritual. Unlike later temples, Göbekli Tepe was built by people who hadn't even started farming yet. There were no cities, no organized agriculture, just small groups of people coming together to build something incredible. This fact alone changes the way we understand human civilization. It suggests that religion or shared beliefs may have been the reason people started settling down, not farming as previously thought. Even today, archaeologists are still piecing together the full story. So far, only 10% of the site has been excavated, with geophysical surveys showing at least 20 more enclosures buried beneath the ground. What secrets do they hold? No one knows for sure. Göbekli Tepe is a window into a forgotten world. It is proof that ancient people were capable of monumental achievements long before history books say they should have been. Older than Stonehenge, older than the pyramids, this temple rewrites the past, one stone at a time. If you enjoy this video, do like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this fascinating discovery beyond imagination. Karahan Tepe, Turkey, a sister site to Göbekli Tepe, possibly as old or older. It contains T-shaped stone pillars and humanoid sculptures dating back around 11,000 years, predating Christianity by millennia. Many centuries ago, before any great kingdom rose, Karahan Tepe stood in silence. This ancient site, hidden in the hills of modern-day Turkey, was built between 9,000 and 11,000 BCE. It may be one of the earliest known human villages. Its enormous T-shaped stone pillars, decorated with mysterious carvings, suggest that people were already coming together to build temples long before cities even existed. Not far from Göbekli Tepe, its more famous sister site, Karahan Tepe, holds some of the oldest stone monuments ever made. Archaeologists have uncovered over 250 obelisks, many with intricate animal carvings. But what truly sets this site apart is its human sculptures. In 2023, researchers unearthed a 2.3-meter-tall statue of a man sitting with his hands gripping his phallus, his ribs and fingers deeply carved into the stone. Similar to the famous Urfa man statue, this discovery hints at ancient beliefs, rituals, or even deities long forgotten. For centuries, this site remained buried beneath dirt and rubble, perfectly preserving its secrets. Locals called it Keçili Tepe, unaware that beneath their feet lay a lost chapter of history. It wasn't until 1997 that researchers stumbled upon its remains. Later, in 2019, excavations led by Turkish archaeologist Necmi Karul uncovered massive stone pillars, animal sculptures, and symbolic carvings, proving that Karahan Tepe was part of a vast network of early religious sites. Unlike later temples, Karahan Tepe was built by people who had no metal tools, no wheels, and no written language. Yet, they shaped massive limestone blocks and arranged them into structures with unknown purposes. Some believe it was a religious center, while others suggest it was a gathering place for early societies. Whatever the truth, it shows that ancient humans were already capable of complex construction and deep spiritual thought. Even now, archaeologists have only scratched the surface of what lies beneath. With every excavation, more pieces of the puzzle are revealed. This temple, built at the dawn of civilization, forces us to rethink what we know about early humanity. Before gods, before kings, there was Karahan Tepe. Another early temple site with T-shaped pillars predating written history is Navali Kori, Turkey. There was a time when humanity was just learning to farm, yet people were already building temples. Navala Chori, an ancient site buried beneath Turkey, proves that spiritual beliefs existed over 9,000 years ago, long before Christianity, Islam, or any organized religion. It holds some of the oldest temples ever built, revealing that early humans gathered for rituals in ways we are only beginning to understand. Sitting along the Euphrates River, this settlement was far ahead of its time. Unlike simple mud huts seen in other ancient villages, Navala Chori had stone houses with underground channels, possibly for ventilation or drainage. These buildings had multiple rooms and even upper levels, showing impressive architectural skills for such an early time. The people who lived here were not just farmers, they were builders, craftsmen, and spiritual seekers. When archaeologists excavated the site in the 1980s, they uncovered something astonishing: a temple carved into the hillside. Inside, they found massive stone pillars, some over 3 meters tall, similar to those at the famous Göbekli Tepe. The floor was made of polished limestone, proving that these early people had already mastered advanced construction techniques. It is clear that Navala Chori was not just a place to live. It was a place of worship, ceremony, and mystery. But the discoveries didn't stop there. The site revealed life-sized stone sculptures, including a carved human head with snake-like markings and a statue of a bird. Some pillars even had human hands carved into them, suggesting unknown rituals. Even more fascinating were the hundreds of tiny clay figurines, mostly human-shaped, possibly used as religious offerings. This means the people of Navala Chori had deep spiritual beliefs long before modern religions existed. Today, this incredible site is lost beneath the waters of a modern dam, buried forever. But its discoveries changed history, proving that faith, creativity, and architecture are far older than we ever imagined. Before kings, before cities, before written language, there were places like Navala Chori, where the first sparks of civilization began. Its story reminds us that the past is still full of secrets waiting to be uncovered. Gantija Temples, Malta. Massive limestone temple structures built before the pyramids of Egypt. Even before the pyramids of Egypt stood tall, the Gantija temples were already ancient. Built over 5,500 years ago, these temples on the island of Gozo in Malta are some of the oldest religious structures in the world. Their name, meaning place of giants, comes from a local legend that claims a giantess built them while carrying a baby on her shoulder. But whether built by giants or by early humans, one thing is certain: these temples are proof of a civilization that had advanced knowledge of architecture and spirituality long before modern history began. Standing on the Zagra Plateau, the temples face the rising sun, much like other megalithic structures. Their massive stone walls, arranged in a cloverleaf pattern, are held together without cement, yet they have survived for thousands of years. Inside, there are 5 large chambers, believed to have been used for rituals, possibly linked to fertility worship. Some walls still have traces of the original plaster, a rare survival from the Neolithic period. What's even more fascinating is that these stones were transported without wheels or metal tools, proving the builders were masters of engineering. When archaeologists explored the site, they uncovered altars, animal bones, and mysterious figurines, suggesting that sacrifices and religious ceremonies took place here. A large stone block near the entrance has a hollowed-out space, leading experts to believe it was used for ritual cleansing before worshippers entered. Even the way the temples were positioned, aligned with the equinox sunrise, shows a deep understanding of astronomy and sacred planning. For centuries, these ruins were hidden beneath layers of dirt and rubble, known only through local stories. Then, in the 18th century, artists and travelers began documenting them. The first excavations in 1827 cleared the site, but unfortunately, much of the ancient debris was lost. Later, archaeologists carefully studied the remains, leading to Gantija being recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1980. Today, visitors walk through these temples on specially designed paths, protecting the ancient ground beneath their feet. The world has changed, but these stone giants remain, whispering the secrets of a time older than Christianity, older than kings, and older than written history itself. Hagar Kim, Malta, a megalithic temple with large standing stones. On a small Mediterranean island called Malta, there stands an ancient temple older than the pyramids of Egypt. This place, known as Hagar Chim, was built between 3,600 and 3,200 years before Christ. The name means worshipping stones, and even today, it feels like a place full of mystery. No one knows exactly who built it or how they managed to move its massive stones. But what remains is a masterpiece of prehistoric architecture. Long ago, people in Malta used a type of soft limestone called Globigerina to construct this temple. Because of this, the temple has been slowly wearing away over thousands of years. In recent times, a protective tent was placed over it to stop the damage. When standing in front of Hagar Kim, visitors first see its grand entrance, framed by huge stone blocks. A wide courtyard spreads out in front as if inviting people into a sacred space. Inside, chambers and passages twist and turn, each one revealing something unique about the ancient builder's skill. Deep inside the temple, clues suggest that it was once a place of worship. Archaeologists found statues of round, plump figures, possibly symbolizing fertility. There's also a tall stone that some believe represents a phallic symbol, hinting at rituals linked to life and creation. A carved altar with a concave top suggests that animals might have been sacrificed here long ago. Strange doorways with screens point to the idea that oracles or religious figures might have once spoken mysterious messages from within. One of the most fascinating things about Hagar Kim is what archaeologists didn't find: human remains. Unlike many other ancient sites, there are no burials inside or near the temple. Instead, bones of sacrificed animals were uncovered, showing that the rituals here might have focused more on offerings than on the dead. Scholars believe the temple was built in 3 main phases, each one expanding on the last until it became the grand structure seen today. Not far from the temple, an old watchtower built by the Knights of Malta still stands, and a memorial to a British governor can be found nearby. The closest village, Krendy, is just a short distance away. However, nothing compares to the mystery of the temple itself. Inside, massive slabs of stone create passages and chambers, some with high ceilings and others small and enclosed. Some of the doorways align perfectly with the sunrise during the summer solstice, suggesting that the temple might have been used to track time or celebrate the changing seasons. For centuries, people believed legends that giants built these temples. A Maltese historian in the 1600s even wrote that the ruins proved giants were the island's first inhabitants. In reality, the first official excavation took place in 1839. The British Army sent an engineer named J.G. Vance to explore the site, and within 2 months, he had drawn a detailed plan and sent several statues and carved stones to the museum in Valletta. Later excavations uncovered even more artifacts, including a beautifully detailed altar decorated with spiral carvings. In the mid-1900s, archaeologists made an astonishing discovery: a small statue known as the Venus of Malta. Unlike earlier statues, this figure lacked clear male or female features, making some believe it represented an asexual deity. Other findings, such as pottery and small stone objects, hinted at a once thriving civilization that vanished long ago. Over time, Malta's government took steps to protect Hagar Chim. A visitor center now stands nearby, offering an interactive experience and showcasing replicas of the original artifacts. While some believe modern changes take away from the temple's raw beauty, others argue that preservation is necessary to keep this incredible site from disappearing. Today, Hagar Kim remains one of the world's oldest religious sites, shrouded in mystery. With its towering stones, hidden chambers, and ancient carvings, it continues to leave visitors in awe, just as it has for thousands of years. The Tarxian temples in Malta are among the most impressive prehistoric structures in Europe. Built over 5,000 years before Christianity, around 3,600 to 2,500 BC, these temples are famous for their intricate carvings, massive stone blocks, and advanced construction techniques. Hidden in the heart of Malta, the Hal Tarxian prehistoric complex stands as a powerful reminder of a time long before written history. These ancient ruins, dating back to around 3,400 years before Christ, are among the most remarkable archaeological treasures in the world. Unlike modern buildings, these structures were not made with simple bricks, but with massive stone slabs, carved and arranged with astonishing skill. The people who built them left no written records, but their work speaks louder than words. Deep inside the complex, 4 different structures reveal the secrets of a lost civilization. The first structure catches the eye with its intricate carvings and detailed patterns. Spirals, animal reliefs, and mysterious symbols decorate the stone surfaces, making it clear that this is no ordinary place. The entrance we see today is a reconstruction, carefully restored in 1956. Meanwhile, the central structure stands out for having 6 chambers, an unusual feature compared to other sites of the same era. The eastern section, however, did not survive history unscathed. When the Romans arrived centuries later, they reshaped it, leaving it with an odd and altered appearance. Further to the east, the remains of an even older and smaller structure whisper of an earlier time, one that predates the rest of the complex. Adding to its intrigue, the site is filled with impressive stone carvings. Bulls, pigs, and other animals appear in relief, as if frozen in time. These were not just random decorations. They had meaning, perhaps connected to rituals, ceremonies, or the daily life of the Neolithic people. A chamber hidden between the walls of the southern and central temples contains one of the most breathtaking carvings, a lifelike depiction of a bull and a sow. The precision and detail show that these ancient builders were not just skilled laborers, but true artists. For many years, historians believed the complex was a religious temple, a sacred place where rituals were performed. However, today, experts are more cautious. The structures surely had a communal purpose, a place where people gathered, but whether they were temples in the strictest sense remains uncertain. One thing is clear: the site was important to the people who built it. Even centuries later, during the early Bronze Age, it remained significant, as it was repurposed into a cremation cemetery. The ashes and human remains found by archaeologists confirm that the complex continued to serve as a gathering place long after its original builders were gone. Unlike many discoveries, this one did not come from careful planning, but from a simple complaint. In the early 20th century, a farmer named Lorenzo Despot kept hitting large stones while plowing his field. Suspicious that these stones might be something more than just a nuisance, he reached out to Themistocles Zamet, the director of Malta's National Museum. Zamet, realizing the potential importance of the site, ordered an excavation in 1913. Within 2 years, his team unearthed something incredible: massive stone blocks and pottery that were undeniably prehistoric. As the excavation continued from 1915 to 1919, the discoveries only became more astonishing. Among the most famous finds was a colossal statue, the largest known human representation from the Neolithic era. Though its features are unclear, its size alone hints at the importance it must have held for its creators. Some of the artifacts from the site even made their way to the British Museum in 1923. By the mid-20th century, efforts to protect the site became more serious. More excavations took place after World War II, and in recent years, large tent-like shelters were built over the ruins to shield them from the elements. Since 1992, the complex has been recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, ensuring its legacy will endure for future generations. More than just ruins, Hal Tarxian tells the story of Malta's ancient past. Its discovery sparked a national movement to protect the island's history and introduced modern archaeology to the country. What started as a farmer's frustration became one of Malta's greatest treasures, a place where history, art, and mystery come together in the most fascinating way. Hypogeum of Hal Saflieni, Malta. an underground temple and burial site carved entirely out of rock. There is something incredible about a temple built underground thousands of years ago. The Hippodrome of Halsaflieni is exactly that, a mysterious, ancient structure carved deep into the rock of Malta. Built between 3300 and 3000 BC, this Neolithic temple was more than just a burial site. It was a place of worship filled with chambers, tunnels, and strange carvings that still puzzle archaeologists today. More than 7,000 human remains were found inside, making it one of the largest prehistoric burial sites ever discovered. At first, no one knew it was there. In 1902, construction workers accidentally broke through the roof while digging a water cistern. Instead of reporting it, they tried to hide the discovery. But soon, archaeologists stepped in, and what they found was astonishing. The site had multiple levels, each carefully carved from soft limestone using simple tools like antlers and flint. The chambers had red ochre paintings and spiral designs, and there was even a room called the Oracle Room, designed to make voices echo through the temple. Even more shocking, archaeologists found strange skulls with elongated shapes, fueling theories of ancient rituals or even mysterious people living there. The most famous discovery was a small clay figure known as the Sleeping Lady, believed to represent a mother goddess. Today, the Hippodrome is strictly protected with only 80 visitors allowed per day. Its underground halls, hidden for thousands of years, continue to be one of the greatest wonders of the ancient world. Pyramid of Djoser, Egypt, the oldest known pyramid used as a temple for the afterlife. Long ago, in the heart of ancient Egypt, a temple unlike any other rose from the sands. The Pyramid of Djoser, also known as the Step Pyramid, stood as the first of its kind, breaking away from the traditional mud brick tombs of the past. Built in the 27th century BC for Pharaoh Djoser, this six-tiered, four-sided monument was the earliest colossal stone structure ever created. It towered 62.5 meters high, its white limestone gleaming under the Egyptian sun. The pyramid wasn't just a tomb, it was a gateway to eternity, a structure designed to ensure Djoser's place among the gods. As time passed, the pyramid's original design changed. Architects expanded it, transforming what began as a simple mastaba into a grand step pyramid. The entire complex covered 15 hectares, with ceremonial courtyards, temples, and chapels. This was not just a burial site, it was a sacred space meant for rituals and festivals. The Hebsed Court, with its chapels and false doors, symbolized the king's renewal of power in the afterlife. Each structure had a purpose, and every stone was placed with care. Centuries later, archaeologists uncovered fascinating details. French architect Jean-Philippe Loehr spent decades restoring parts of the site. In 2020, after 14 years of careful restoration, the pyramid was finally reopened to visitors. Though its golden days had faded, the Pyramid of Djoser still stood, whispering tales of a time when pharaohs ruled and stone giants reached for the stars. Karnak Temple, Egypt, one of the largest temple complexes in the world. Step into the ancient world, where towering columns and massive stone gates tell stories of gods and pharaohs. The Karnak Temple complex in Egypt is one of the most incredible places ever built, standing proudly near Luxor. It all started around 1971 BC, when Pharaoh Senusret Mar began construction. Over 30 pharaohs added their touch, making it one of the largest temple complexes ever. Though most of what remains today comes from the New Kingdom, the temple kept growing even during the Ptolemaic era, which ended in 30 BC. Deep inside the complex, a massive area known as the Precinct of Amun-Re holds the famous Hypostyle Hall. This hall alone covers 50,000 square feet and has 134 giant columns. Some stand 10 meters tall, while others reach an incredible 21 meters, with each column wide enough to fit several people standing side by side. To lift the heavy stone blocks on top, ancient builders likely used ramps made of mud and stone, proving how advanced their engineering skills were. Over time, Karnak saw great changes. During the 18th dynasty, Queen Hatshepsut added enormous obelisks, one of which still stands today. Later, Seti-Vard and Rameses II expanded the hypostyle hall, but when Christianity spread in 323 AD, Karnak's temples were abandoned and churches were built among the ruins. Today, archaeologists continue uncovering secrets, using technology like virtual reality to bring Karnak's past back to life. It remains one of Egypt's greatest wonders. Temple of Hatshepsut, Egypt, a famous mortuary temple built for Egypt's female pharaoh. Imagine standing before a breathtaking masterpiece carved into the cliffs of Deir el-Bahari. The mortuary temple of Hatshepsut, built during the reign of the powerful female pharaoh in Egypt's 18th dynasty, is unlike any other. Rising in 3 grand terraces, this temple blends seamlessly into the rocky landscape. Across the Nile, it aligns with the 8th pylon of the Karnak temple, showing its deep connection to Amun-Re. A long causeway stretching 1 kilometer links it to the Valley Temple, making it part of a sacred journey. During Hatshepsut's reign, construction continued for over a decade, with constant changes to the original design. Inspired by the older temple of Mentuhotep II, it introduced unique features. The central sanctuary, usually reserved for a pharaoh's cult, was instead dedicated to Amun-Re. Hatshepsut's claim to the throne was carved into its walls, showing her divine birth and the famous expedition to the land of Punt. Shrines to Anubis and Hathor added to its spiritual importance. Years later, history wasn't so kind. Thutmose III, her successor, erased many of her images. Akhenaten later removed depictions of Amun, and an earthquake caused more damage. The temple also became a Christian monastery, with religious paintings covering Egyptian art. Centuries passed before explorers like Richard Pocock, 1737, and later, archaeologists uncovered its secrets. Since 1961, Polish and Egyptian teams have worked to restore it. Today, visitors can once again walk through this temple, witnessing its fascinating past. This incredible discovery opens a new chapter in history, proving that ancient civilizations still have secrets waiting to be uncovered. A temple older than Christianity itself challenges what we know about early religious practices and architectural achievements. As researchers continue to study its origins, every artifact and carving brings us closer to understanding the people who built it. Who knows what other forgotten wonders still lie beneath the earth, waiting to rewrite history?